Hello.
What's up,
Hey,
Shameless? How you doing?
hey there. Welcome. Hey, Bina. Welcome. Um, I just wanted to. I saw the video originally. It was on my For You page, and my thing is this. I respectfully disagree. I believe lots of women give 9 to 5 men a shot, and they even give men who have less than a 9 to 5 energy because we have that Pookie and Ray Ray archetype in our community. So I always get kind of confused when we're known out of all the cultures, all the different women from all over the land, we're known to tolerate less when it comes to provision in men in our community. So I don't get this archetype that we won't give the 9 to 5 man a shot, but we'll go for like the ballers and whatnot. And I'm just like, but how do we have all this, disparity with men being able to provide for the kids and women complaining about provision for their children? Now, I know lots of women who love 9 to 5 men and they want a man who's stable and they're into good guys. And I just feel like it's not sexy to do live streams talking to those women. And the women that are up to about this subject that are toxic, those women are in these live streams trying to what I would say improve themselves. So I feel like, why is it not sexy to talk about women who give guys who have 9 to 5s that have a good head on their shoulders, that are the good guys? Why don't we show love? Because it almost seems like you're beating the choir. Like, I don't surround myself with women who are, doing malarkey, doing very toxic things. So I know these women exist, but they're not in my sphere of influence. And in my For You page, I'm around like-minded women. So I just don't get. I just feel like these topics are just to add vitriol and controversy. But in my community and what I've seen on my For You page, there's lots of women who want wholesome men who will give a man with a great job a shot.
Okay. So, you do know there's 41 million black people in the United States, and only 30% of them are married, which came out to 4.76 million people last year. So that's the first thing. Second thing is that just because the women in your community probably doesn't make up 1% of the black population. So you got to remember that your immediate experience in your community does not set the tone for the generalization that we're using in this video. We're talking to the majority, not the minority. You and your friends fall in the minority group. So that's the second thing. And the reason why we're having this conversation is because majority rules. Everyone knows that. That's basic statistics 101. Anything that's the majority, they're going to lean toward that. So if you're a woman that wants to have kids with a man, do you want your son to be surrounded by the majority of women who were raised by single mothers who don't got good heads on their shoulders, or do you want to speak to those women, try to talk to them and hopefully change the tide of things so that way your son has better options when he picks? Or do you want to teach your children, hey, maybe you should just date outside your race because the women in our community ain't worth it? That's the situation we're in now. I have a son. He is 12 years old. In 6, 7, well, in about 10 years, he'll be looking to have somebody to, be with in long term. And the state of the women right now, ain't none of them women gonna be welcome in my house. Not acting like that. So because of that, this is a conversation that needs to be had. It's not to beat anyone down. It's to put the information out there that time is not our friend. Every day we get closer to the end of our lives, not closer to the beginning. So at the end of the day, if we're getting closer to the end, these conversations need to be had, because just because you don't think that there's people in the comments that are waking up and thinking like, hey, you know what, maybe I should do better. That's your opinion, but there are a lot of women who hear this and they're like, you know what she's saying makes sense. Maybe I can do that, because I do these lives all the time. And sometimes the comments, yeah, they be negative, and sometimes the comments be like, you know what she says has merit. I've witnessed that. I've seen that. I've even seen that in here so far, that they witness what I'm saying. So you want to have these conversations because you want to promote that positivity to touch someone and say, hey, the decisions you are making are affecting our community. Because yeah, you may be one person, but if one person sees you and thinks that what you're doing is right, that's another person affected and another person affected. And now you got thousands and thousands of people in our community affected with the wrong mindset. And then they're going out and they're voters and they're doctors and they're lawyers and they're teachers. And people want to say that we don't live in a world where people are motivated by their opinions, but they are. And do you want a woman that shakes her behind and screams hot girl summer being the health sex ed teacher for your daughter in 10 years. No, you don't. Because you don't want to her opinion to rain down on your child and influence that young mind and make her think that's the life that you want to live. That's why these conversations are necessary, because we as Black women have the it's our in our power, and it's also our responsibility to counsel each other and not allow our it's one thing to stand by and watch our sisters make all these bad mistakes and talk shit about them. It's another thing to stand up here and be able to say, listen, baby, the decisions you are making is grossly negatively affecting our whole entire community. And we need you to make better decisions and set examples so that way other women will see you as a good example. We don't need more Cardi B's and Megans and Nicki Minaj's. Okay. We need more Camillas and Coretta Scott Kings and Bettys, and we need those women. And there's less of them and more of the other ones. So that's why we're having it. It's not to down talk anyone. I'm not here to make anybody feel like they life is worth any less than mine. I'm having the conversation because I want better for my people, not worse.
Okay, so here's the thing. I know, and I don't know who else in the comments, we shared that we're both Nigerian descent, and I'm not just one person. And I do live streams as well, and I do conversations, and my point about it is there's more than 2% of us. There are a lot of women who have a good head on their shoulders, and I'm not saying this conversation isn't needed, and I didn't say anyone in the comments isn't waking up. I'm saying that there's people in the comment section that are good women that will give men a 9 to 5 chance. But I feel it's very common on Black TikTok specifically that we focus on the women that are toxic, and we don't even have a balance of live stream where we show appreciation for women do that give men love. That's what I'm saying. Majority of the topics is the imbalance, what's not going on, but we don't show appreciation to people who already know this is an issue and they're actually being part of the solution. So then it seems like it's more incentivized to speak about what's going wrong. And it's just coming on like, can we have some balance? Can we speak about what's wrong? And what can we speak about what's going great? Because I do live streams. I'm a content creator on both YouTube and here. And I do hour-long live streams. And my goal is to let women know that there's more than a man money, because what happens when we have another panda whammy and he doesn't work for himself, so then his occupation is taken. And I'm a registered nurse and a travel, and so a lot of my coworkers, they were the main breadwinners because their occupation was one of the occupations that was allowed to work during the panty whammy. So I just feel like it would be nice to have live streams that will focus on the women that are actually giving 9 to 5 men who have honest jobs because they saw that with their parents, or they didn't see it with their parents and they actually value that because they don't want to repeat what they grew up with. And I see that there's women who will work with a man who makes less than them because they understand working for themselves or working a 9 to 5 all these years and going to the hospital by themselves, and they're seeing other cultures have their man by their side. They value that. And that's what I'm talking about. I want to see that. There's women like myself. I can go either way. I have my own home. I have 3 degrees. I have 2 professional licenses. But when your father transitions in 2017, and you don't have someone holding your hand, all that doesn't matter. And so other cultures, they have the luxury of being, if they say they want to be a stay-at-home mom, no one says, oh, da, 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 da. That part, that hurts me, because I feel as Black women historically, we've always worked. We've always had empathy for the plight of the Black man, but we always like to minimize and say you're asking for too much. But you can't go to an Eastern European woman and tell her she's silly because she wants a man who is a provider 100% of the way. We would just say, okay, that's your preference. But when Black women do it, it's like, oh, you guys are being, no one can go 50-50 on a child. A woman's body, some women don't even make it. I worked at a hospital where one of the judge's son's wife lost her life on the operating table because of medical racism. So you can't go 50-50 on that. And so I'm at a point now where I rarely get in
There's a
people's
lot of
lives because I
things you can't
respect
go 50-50 on
Right,
in a
right.
relationship,
And,
though.
and all
So
due
that doesn't
respect,
make it an equal
Dean,
playing
I allow
field.
you to speak without interrupting you because I really want to hear what you had to say, and I value your opinion. I just wanted to say my piece. The one thing that I just wanted to say too is that there's a lot of things women can go 50-50, and we don't have the same energy for other cultures when they want to be stay-at-home. If you want to be a stay-at-home wife, be a stay-at-home wife. For me, my personality, I don't think that's for me. But I wish someone would have told me the benefits. The kids are so well adjusted. One person would benefit being at home. That's what the elites do. That's why a lot of working class exists, because they need people to do the roles that they can't do so they can spend time with their family. That's just how it is. You want a stranger to teach your kids the most fundamental things in their formative years? So my thing is this: if you want to be a stay-at-home wife, be a stay-at-home wife. Remove yourself from spaces that contradict that, because there's lots of detractors because they don't see it for themselves, so they'll project it on you. But if you want to be a career woman, be a career woman, and don't argue with people who disagree with you. Remove yourself from those spaces, because we live in an abundant world. If you're not robbing from somebody or causing them physical harm, your desires are your desires. And that's that. And that's all I wanted to say. I allow Bina to talk because I've said some things before I drop down because I'm going to the gym. But when you said no, but nobody wants to get in the box, I literally added as soon as I came into your live, and then you added the man. So
Okay,
I didn't have to
let me
tag
ask
you.
you let me ask you a question, and then Mr. Bina, you can say something. Do you see this thing that you refer to as Black TikTok? Do you see lives, and please be 100% honest. Do you see lives where Black women are collectively having a forum where they're uplifting Black men and uplifting these just average, hardworking, everyday, go to work, pay taxes? Do you see lives where they're uplifting those men, or do most of those forums focus on Pookie and Ray Ray?
To be honest with you, I don't get that on my For You page. I usually get manifestation, plus size women who are with fit men that are Black women, and femininity experts. So I don't get the women who talk about
So
that. I usually get the toxic whereas the men talking about the disagreement, the discord between Black men and Black women. And so I had to remove myself. I didn't have to, but I chose to remove myself from those spaces because it was affecting my mental health. I was like, this is not conducive to someone who's marriage minded.
Noble, I have a question.
so basically you don't
Hmm.
see all you see is Black men talking about Black women and Black men, but you don't see any other, you don't happen to come across any other forums where Black women are talking about Black men. And even if you don't, all you have to go do when you get over here, just go look in the
No,
comment
I know
section.
they're on YouTube, and that's why I
No,
removed
no, no.
myself
Go
from
look
YouTube.
in the comment section of this
Hmm.
video.
Hmm.
That
Hmm.
go look in the comment section of this video. And that's that. So the what a lot of you Black women like to say is, well, if all of us are saying this, there must be some truth to it. So if all the Black men in those comments, if a lot of these men are all feeling the same way, there must be some truth to that too, huh? Or is not any truth to that?
65,000
No,
views.
no, but there is truth. But I'm saying is that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying balance. There is truth. That's why I remove myself from YouTube, because it's not in my great for my mental health to talk about the problem all the time. There's problems and there's solutions. There's toxic women that will rob men. There's toxic women who are not into men for altruistic reasons, and they're good, wholesome women that want good men too. And I want balance. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying these men's complaints aren't valid. I'm not saying some of these women's complaints are valid. But my point is, there's those of us who are like, man, we want solution oriented. We know the issue. I've been on TikTok seriously as a content creator since March, and it just seems like it's more conducive to grow platforms, not for you, but for most people. And it's not sexy to talk about the solutions. On my live stream, it's very solution oriented, and I have my day one people, and I'm lucky if I get 20. But if I have 5 or 10, I'm Gucci with that, because I understand I'm not talking about sexy viral topics. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that what you're talking about doesn't exist, but I'm saying speak about also the positive things. If this is your platform, you can do whatever you want. But I'm just saying I would like to see more balance.
I have a question
How
for
can
you.
we
Hold on,
get
Noble.
okay?
I'm sorry. I have a question. So you mentioned earlier in this live that you have a bunch of friends that date 9 to 5 dudes, correct?
Yeah.
Are your 9 to 5 dating friends, are they happy?
Yes.
Okay, that's the difference. All of the Pookie and Ray Rays and the women dating these ballers that cheat on them, they're the ones complaining. That's why we address them. That's why we address them in such magnitude, because they're the ones whining. All the women out here with 16,000 baby daddies and all these kids who ain't being raised right, those are the ones that are complaining. Those are why they're being addressed. There are more in them than your friends. And so you address the masses first. You don't address the minorities. I understand that you want to reach to a point in this whole situation where we start addressing you, but let me tell you the difference between you and them. You're happy, so you don't need anybody to bring you flowers, because you know why? You probably have a man to bring you flowers. You have a man to lift you up. You have a man to tell you, baby, you're beautiful, and make you feel special and give you all of that in your household, and you have a good life because of it. Those women don't. So therefore, we're talking to them. If you want to be happy like her and her friends, guess what you need to do? Date people that will bring you that happiness. That is why we're having these conversations. I understand that you want to give the flowers to the people that are doing right, but the people that are doing right don't need flowers. Why? Because they're happy. They're happy. Misery loves company. The women that aren't happy, they're trying to tear down other women, like in the comments of this video, or trying to tell me I'm a pick me and you this and you that. Last night they was talking about how my face is fat and all this other stuff. Yeah, but
That's
all of them are
uncalled for.
single. But hold on, but
That's
listen,
uncalled
but all of
for them
I
to do
understand,
that.
but all of them are single, and I got a man. They're miserable, and I'm speaking to you because I understand you're miserable. I understand your heart's broken. I understand you're sad and you're lonely. Let me tell you how to be unlonely. Date men that are available. Stop holding out hope for this 6'5" dreamboat with $300,000 bank account to come and drive you around the country in his boat. Look for a man in your area. It's not lowering your standards. It's not telling you that you don't deserve a man that makes $300,000 a year, but you will overlook a really, really, really good man who will love you, who will care for you, who will be there for you, to save hope for a man that may not exist. Only 1% of the black community make over $200,000. Well, no, 1% of the country make over $250,000 a year. So black is even less than that, and women are really holding out hope for them. And you are walking past the McDonald's manager, the Popeyes manager, the Kohl's manager, the Ulta manager, because you're saying that he don't make enough money for you. And then you get in the comments and want to talk about how, I don't know, all niggas ain't shit and all this other stuff. You are alone and bitter because you choose to be. So we're having these conversations because if we want our women, our sisters to be happy, we need to tell them, shake them and say, wake up. You're making your own self unhappy. So it's not to this. These platforms are not meant. Well, when I'm on them, I'm not here to degrade anyone. I am trying to tell you that you are a victim of a circumstance you created. And if you want to be happy, start making better decisions that equal happiness. Because at the end of the day, when you're pointing fingers, how many are pointing back at you? 4 of them. And all 4 of them are telling you, you put yourself in this position. Nobody, the only people I believe in this world that are true victims are the elderly, the super elderly, and babies. Everybody in the middle, some way, shape, or form, well, children, I should say, some way, for shape, or form in between, you put yourself in a lot of the situations that you had to deal with. And that's not to say that, that there's no such thing as victims. What it's to say is that there comes a time in everyone's life where you either put up or shut up. All of this complaining about how men ain't good and all this other stuff, but I run into good men all the time. I am consistently in a live 3 really good men every day, and they're all single, and women look over them all the time. Amazing men, great fathers, just amazing. They're single. I wonder why. And this is my experience. I know a lot of men that are amazing. They're single. And when they get with women, women want to do the most. So if we want to if you want to get to a world where we're giving out more roses than thorns, then we need to wake up the people who are giving out the thorns. And that's all of the women that are complaining. These conversations started from women complaining. Men ain't this, baby daddies deadbeat. They started complaining. And it's all of the women who put themselves in those positions are complaining. So if
Yep.
you want them to stop complaining, we got to start telling them how to fix their situation.
Yep, and you black women are the women that make these spaces toxic. Yet it's considered toxic for a black man.
Wow.
It's considered toxic for a black man or anyone else to have conversations, to hold people accountable, and to give advice to the women that haven't made bad decisions yet, to not make those same bad decisions and be honest
True.
and truthful with them. So to hold a mirror in front of you black women, that's considered being toxic, and that's considered being negative. Listen, at least on this platform, the mirror is going to continue to be held up to Black women. I have a younger Black sister. I have an older sister. I'm going to make sure that they know that what's going on out here is not cool, and it's not the wave. Y'all the ones that come in here and make it toxic because, again, hit dogs gonna holler. You feel like you're being attacked. You feel like you're being shamed instead of just trying to be held accountable. And then when a Black woman does come up and agree with what a lot of the men are saying, she's considered a pick me. So whether the Black man tries to hold you accountable or the Black woman tries to hold you accountable, they're both wrong at the end of the day.
Oh, hold
But
on real quick.
Shameless, please say
Ideal.
one last thing, and I have to move on to the next person.
Okay, so one thing I wanted to say is that I understand the modus operandi is that is the general and the exception. And I feel like there's a missed opportunity because the outliers would benefit for someone to speak. And I do my best with my platform, but I feel Noble, you can do whatever you want because you're further along in your social media journey. But I just feel like you would really stand out a way, way, way faster too if you just said at least once a week speaking to the outliers because there are women who already are on your side and they see it, and I just feel it's like a missed opportunity when we don't talk to. And I appreciate being you're very articulate, you explain your views, you're actually in integrity because you have a man. There's a lot of experts on here that talk and tell us what we need to do, and they don't have someone, and that really rubs me. So at least you're in integrity. But I disagree respectfully that the ones that are doing the work, I think it's great to give people flowers. The more you show gratitude to what you have, you get more of the positive. So that's all I want to say. I appreciate you allowing me to share your platform for this amount of time. And I feel like this discussion was respectful, and no one deserves to call you being out your name just because they disagree with you. And that's emotional immaturity.
Well, thank you. You have a good night and be safe.
Thanks.
All right, thank you, Shameless. Have a good night.